Welcome to the class of 2018 commencement ceremony. My name is Adam DeBay, and I'm the head of school for Columbia Independent School. This year's a special year for our school. Not only do we get to celebrate the contributions of the members of our senior class, but it also marks our 20th commencement celebration. In a few minutes, we'll get to hear from these young people about their experiences as students at CIS. It promises to be a mix of laughter, joy, gratitude, and maybe just a little bit of sadness. Seniors, you've worked hard to arrive at this point tonight, and I commend you for your efforts. One of the things I often hear about our alumni is what a great first impression they make on people who meet them. Whether it be their ability to engage in an intellectual conversation, their mature knowledge of self, or the kindness they extend to others, our graduates are great at making a first impression. As soon-to-be CIS alum, you too will fall into this category. Of course, it's not walking across this stage and receiving your diploma that bestows this quality upon you. It's already there. For some of you, it began back in kindergarten when you first learned to greet your teachers with a handshake. For others of you, it started when you looked inside yourself and you rose to the challenges of the upper school curriculum, learning not to settle. For several of you, I might argue, it began this week when you finally showed up to my office with a solid draft of your graduation speech. But they were worth the wait. What I want to tell each of you is this. First impressions are easy. It's lasting impressions that count. So for the past several months, I've been reading a biography about Ulysses Grant. Apart from knowing a little bit about his role in the Civil War, living 2 blocks from his tomb when I lived in New York City, and suggesting to my wife that we name our youngest son Ulysses before he was born. She wasn't convinced, by the way. I knew very little about Grant. As I've read through this book, though, this theme of first impressions versus lasting impressions has stood out to me. The book painstakingly covers the multitude of Grant's failures in his early life. Dogged by struggles with alcoholism and an overly trusting personality bordering on naive, Grant seemed destined for little more than the job he held at the beginning of the Civil War, working as a clerk in one of his father's stores. Nevertheless, the author notes that one impression superseded all others, that Grant was just power and will and resolution. The initial impression Grant left on others was not the lasting impression. Seeing past this initial impression of his failures, it was Grant's lasting impression that spurred President Lincoln to put his trust in him to lead the Union forces to victory. I share this story not because I'm trying to downplay the importance of first impressions. They matter, and I'm proud that you and our other alumni so readily impress those who meet. I share this story because what made Grant successful was not pretension, but being his genuine self. He was more concerned with lasting impressions than first impressions. And in a world today in which so many people carefully curate what they share about themselves, competing for those brief few moments of opportunity to make a first impression, you will be challenged to make a lasting impression. The link between grit, perseverance, and success is a well-researched and documented one. Your time at CIS has taught you much. You've learned deeply and richly in math, science, history, literature, and language. Your ability to listen, reason, and argue a point is keen. Some of you love the arguing part. And you've demonstrated grit and perseverance through thousands of hours of classes, homework, and pages of reading. But above all this, however, I believe that you have learned to be your genuine self. As you prepare for this next step in your educational journey, I would encourage you to hew closely to this genuine version of yourself. It took Grant years of failures, but through it all, he remained his true self, ultimately finding a place for him to make a lasting impression. Finally, there's one other aspect of Grant's success as a military general that I would be remiss not to mention. Although a brilliant strategist, he knew that his success was never his alone. In fact, he relied heavily upon those around him in executing his plans, accepting advice and guidance from both above and below his rank. and he went to great lengths to ensure that credit for success was given to those who merited it rather than stealing it for himself. Tonight, the celebration of your success is a celebration of the combined efforts of you, your parents, your teachers, and many other individuals who have significantly invested in your life. It's true tonight, and it will be true well into the future. I wish each of you all the very best. I look forward to talking with someone who meets you in the coming months and gushes to me about what an impressive person you are. Thank you. One of the things we've decided to include in our commencement ceremony is a recognition of our faculty. Although there are many adages and aphorisms related to the teaching profession, individuals pursue teaching as a vocation because it truly is for them a calling. You're going to hear about that from some of these students tonight. While some professions offer relatively quick feedback, such as a successful surgery or winning a case, teachers are imbued with an exceptional ability to take the long view about their work. To plant a seed in 1 year, only to know that it might be several years before that seed yields fruit. I often ask people to think about someone who made a special impact in their lives, someone who was a mentor, who believed in them in a way in which they didn't believe in themselves. For a majority of people, it's the name of a teacher who first comes to mind. Because of the significant role of our teachers play in the lives of these young men and women, and the gratitude we have for their commitment to our students in school, this year we want to recognize our teachers for their years of service to CIS. As this is our first year recognizing teachers, we will recognize teachers who have completed their 5th, 10th or more, and 15th or more years of service to CIS. So teachers, when I read your name, I ask that you please come and stand along the front of the stage. Teachers finishing their 5th year of service: Michelle Medinas, Carla Robinson, and Alex Turwelt. And I should mention Amy Buckley is in this group as well, but her son is actually graduating somewhere else, and so she couldn't be here tonight. Teachers who are completing between their 10th and 15th year of service, we have Eric Reiner, Daisy Dowse, Elizabeth Mudrick, Terry Nowlin, Wade Curtis, Brian Stuhlman, Karen Davis, and Chris Sayers. And finally, teachers who are completing 15 or more years of service, and I will mention how many years they've completed. John Hager, 17 years. Megan Percival, 16 years. Jeannie Tassie, 15 years. And Jason Bricker, 19 years. Teachers, thank you very, very much. You may be seated. Now I would like to invite our lower school director, Mrs. Chris Sayers, to the podium.
Good evening. Dr. Charles Mclean served as both a member of our Board of Trustees and head of school. He was an educational expert who enjoyed an extraordinary career within the larger educational community. In 2005, an award was created in his honor, the Charles J. Mclean Distinguished Teaching Award. This award is now given to one full-time faculty member from the lower school and one full-time faculty member from the middle upper school. Colleagues nominated faculty members whom they believe exemplify his or her commitment to professional growth, pursuit of excellence in teaching, and a strong belief in the mission of our school. This year's lower school recipient is widely described as ambitious and devoted. She researches ways to be a highly effective teacher and shares both knowledge and resources with others. Colleagues say she inspires them. They describe her as one who goes above and beyond, is enthusiastic about teaching, strives for excellence. They recognize the high level of standards she requires both of herself and her students, and admire the tirelessness and joy with which she works. She has emerged as a leader among the faculty and now serves as department chair. She has taken it upon herself to visit classrooms in all divisions and broaden her relationships among the faculty. Her ambition is to one day become an administrator. To further advance her professional goals, she began tackling the rigors of seeking her doctorate this past year. This teacher is fully committed to her students, creating strong relationships and knowing each well. She makes time to support her students in academics before and after school, and will talk through their personal struggles professionally. She offers popular clubs from hairstyles to ancient cultures, sharing a range of interests developmentally diverse. And how can we not take a moment to thank her for touching our hearts and enhancing our school spirit through the Lionettes? In multiple ways, she has united our school. It is an honor to present this evening's first Charles J. Mclean Distinguished Teaching Award to Alexandria Otis. I would now like to introduce Middle School Upper School Director Jason Bricker to present the Charles J. Mclean Teaching Award to the Middle School Upper School recipient.
What traits does an excellent teacher have? A 2011 Washington Post article by Valerie Strauss titled 12 Qualities Great Teachers Share identified passion for teaching, love of kids, and love of their subject as some of the more obvious qualities. However, it was the following three qualities that made me think of our middle school, upper school recipient this year. A strong work ethic, a willingness to reflect, and a willingness to change. The work ethic, to constantly step up and lead. The middle school student council sponsor, Spectrum Club sponsor. Teacher can't go on an international trip, so I will fill in of my own accord. Take the seniors to Kansas City for senior trip and turn around the next weekend to go to Perryville, Arkansas with 9th and 11th graders to the Heifer International Learning Ranch. She has the quiet confidence and drive to look for answers and trust her instincts. You could say she's guilty of doing her homework. The willingness to reflect is a constant challenge for any professional, young or old. Teachers and students are drawn to her because she is adept at listening and helping people think through challenges. Her willingness to change is exemplified by her ability to step back and take the long view. Her voice brought depth and levity to our recent strategic planning process, and it is tremendously exciting to see how the college counseling process has already begun to evolve into a 4-year journey for our students. It is my honor to recognize Elizabeth Bucco as the recipient of the 2018 Charles J. Mclean Middle School Upper School Distinguished Teaching Award. We have a number of other awards this evening as well. The Academic Achievement Award is presented to one 8th grade student who has embraced a pace of academic rigor during his or her time at CIS. This student has achieved not only outstanding grades, but demonstrates the intellectual curiosity endemic to lifelong learners. Knowing her parents, and having taught both of her siblings, I knew chances were this student would follow suit and be exceptionally bright. What struck me upon meeting her was how inquisitive she was. Good teachers crave students who are intellectually curious and challenge them to raise the bar. Given that challenge, this student truly excels and has her teachers excited to see what is ahead for her in upper school. She is one of the 2 8th grade students to represent CIS this summer as part of the Be the Change service trip to Peru. Congratulations to Eliana Snyder, this year's recipient of the Academic Achievement Award. The Outstanding Character and Citizenship Award is presented to one middle school student who exemplifies CIS's commitment to character development. This student participates wholly in promoting CIS and our mission by demonstrating honesty and integrity and a genuine concern for the well-being of others. I often feel like the description of this award should read, in the midst of all the drama that middle school brings, this student is the first to make eye contact, smile at you, and say good morning. This year's recipient certainly qualifies in this area. She is thoughtful and kind. Now, please don't get the impression that these traits are indicative of a student that merely goes with the flow or is a pushover. In fact, this student is one of the more adept at telling you what is on her mind. I learned this upon a visit to 8th grade PE class. Every now and again, I found myself playing indoor soccer with this class. One day, I must have outdone myself. For after class was over, this student let me know that I was welcome to play with her class, as long as I understood that from that day forward, I was required to play on her team. Joking aside, this student is a big thinker. She's concerned about global education, particularly as it pertains to girls in developing nations. She is the other of the 2 8th graders to represent Columbia Independent School on the Be the Change trip to Peru this summer. Lila Nittler is this year's Outstanding Character and Citizenship Award recipient. There are two upper school awards that we have tonight as well. First, the Deanna Corn Award. The Deanna Corn Award is presented to a junior or senior who exemplifies qualities of service to others and to the community as articulated in the CIS mission. When this individual makes up their mind, watch out, things are going to happen. She decided this year that we needed a Glee Club, and so we had a Glee Club. The performances at our all-school assemblies were amazing, as many of us in this room can attest to. Yet it was the way this student worked with middle school students that truly stands out. If you saw her out in front of those students, it was as if you were watching a veteran teacher lead a group through their paces. She's involved in junior leadership in the Columbia community, as well as Interact, a service organization associated with Rotary International. As an 8th grader, she went with classmates to the Heifer International Learning Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. Inspired by her experience, she decided last year to organize a trip back to their learning ranch with fellow upper school Interact Club members. This year, we incorporated this same experience into our grade level trip curriculum, and 11th graders acted as mentors, helping lead 9th graders through the 24-hour global poverty simulation that takes place at the ranch. Now that is leaving a lasting impact on your school. Without further ado, then, it is my pleasure to recognize Junior Jasmine Walker as the 2017-2018 Deanna Corn Award winner. The Jefferson Moore Award honors the memory of Jefferson Moore, son of CIS Latin teacher and founding CIS faculty member, Sue Ann Moore. The award recognizes a student who demonstrates a generosity of spirit at CIS, as well as in the community at large. The recipient of this award displays sensitivity to the needs of others and is accepting and inclusive of all. This award is open to all CIS students currently enrolled in grades 9 through 12. A generosity of spirit indeed. Some credit the book of Matthew, others Cicero, but often Shakespeare is credited with saying, "The eyes are a window to your soul." Last night at the junior-senior dinner, teachers and peers alike spoke of how truly kind this individual is. To anyone who knows her, you would most likely agree that you can truly see it in her eyes. The Jefferson Moore Award winner this year is senior Anusha Chaudhary. Okay, well, seniors, let's get to it. Tonight, we honor and celebrate you. Many of you have probably read, seen, or heard a story about Senator John McCain recently as he continues to fight against an aggressive form of brain cancer. I came across an excerpt from his new memoir, The Restless Wave, that resonated with me, and I would like to share a couple of his words with you tonight. He says, "My fellow Americans, no association ever mattered more to me. We're not always right. We're impetuous and impatient and rush into things without knowing what we're really doing. We argue over little differences endlessly and exaggerate them into lasting breaches. We can be selfish and quick sometimes to shift the blame for our mistakes to others." However, he later goes on to clarify, "Whether we think each other right or wrong, in our views on the issues of the day. We owe each other respect, so long as our character merits respect. Now, much of this excerpt is centered on the current political climate, and yet then again, it is about so much more. I'm certainly not here to discuss politics, rather the implication by Senator Mclean as to the type of character that merits respect. As part of the intro to documentary class taught by Mr. Burden, each senior participated in a filmed interview in which they were asked to reflect upon their time at Columbia Independent School and where they saw themselves in the future. Over and over again, each senior talked about their love of the CIS community, the lifetime friendships they had established with classmates, and relationships they'd built with teachers. This group of seniors is different in so many ways, and yet the common thread is a school community that fosters relationships that value and respect individuals. I am encouraged that the group sitting before you, though small in size, is ready to emerge into the world at large, ready to embrace the challenge of listening, learning, loving, and living from and with those in their community and the world beyond. Now I'm going to address each of our seniors. Lily Boyd. Lily Boyd started at CIS as a first grader and left after 6th grade year and then returned as a 10th grader. Get that right? Close? All right. I have to start with an anecdote shared by science teacher John Hager because I was not aware of this gem. He remembers at 5th grade celebration when you and a friend spoke Mandinka to the audience to add an extra touch to the festivities. He said, "How brave on your part to want to do this." Fearless might be another way to describe Lily. Ballet dancer Misty Copeland said, "Be strong, be fearless, be beautiful, and believe that anything is possible when you have the right people there to support you." If anyone has seen Lily play soccer or run cross country, you have a better idea about what I am speaking of. Not a tactical defender, she often ran by people, but her motor never quit. In cross country, she qualified for state both years that she participated. Lily, your family will continue to support you as you all leave Columbia, but you will continue to have support and a home here at CIS. Lily will be headed to Richmond, Virginia, and attending VCU next year, where she will pursue her interest related to business and finance. Emmab Reiner. Emmab Reiner has been a student at Columbia Independent School since kindergarten. If we had a major in performing arts, she would be working on her PhD right now. Chamber choir, madrigal, Columbia Youth Choir, jazz band, and the list goes on. Spanish teacher Mrs. Davis recounted a memory of Emma from the gala several years ago. She says, her job was to persuade guests to purchase a chance to win a valuable piece of jewelry. After persistently trying to get me to purchase a ticket, I finally told her, "Emma, I'll be happy to buy one if you ask me in Spanish." She did. She adds, "I didn't win the jewelry, but something more valuable. A chance to hear a former middle school Spanish student use her language abilities for something that mattered to her." Ms. Bucco noted that Emma's poetry out loud performances were stellar, and she was robbed of that first place regional title. Personally, I want to thank you for carrying on the green sock tradition. You see, Emma's older sister, Rachel, wore a pair of bright green socks all 4 years of upper school to soccer practice. Emma carried on the tradition, kind of. She lost one of the socks. Those of you familiar with the children's book series, Pete the Cat, will know why I feel like Pete when I say, even down to one sock, Emma still had fun and came to rock with just one sock. Next year, Emma will be participating in the World Race, a 9-month mission trip with stops in Thailand, Malaysia, Costa Rica, and Ecuador, before heading on to the University of Missouri to pursue a degree in education. Alexis Burks. Alexis has been a student at Columbia Independent School since kindergarten. In her time at CIS, she's participated in the following sports: track, basketball, volleyball, you name it, she's played it. But her true passion is softball. Softball Olympian great Jenny Finch once said, "Never limit yourself, never be satisfied, and smile. It's free." This describes Alexis on and off the field. In her time at Rockbridge High School, playing on a co-op agreement, here are some of her accolades. 4-year varsity player, 2017 and 2018 Bruin Award winner, 2018 first team All Rockbridge, and I believe this last one, most doubles ever? Most doubles ever. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, she'll be taking her skills to the next level as a member of the University of Missouri softball team, MIZ. That's only a part of the story for Alexis. She is kind, and her positivity lifts everyone around her up. Just last week, I asked her if she would lead our all-school assembly. That was probably nowhere near the top of the list of things she wanted to do that day. But she stepped right up and did an excellent job. Alexis, I think it's fair to say that people will remember you as much for your smile as they will for what you've accomplished on the field. Alexis aspires to earn a degree in physical therapy and perhaps open her own practice one day. That's great. I'm not getting any younger, so I hope you offer teacher discounts. Anusha Chaudhary. Along with a close sophomore friend, Anusha Chaudhary can be seen on a daily basis as she strolls through the halls, lap after lap. She took one before the proceedings tonight. You can't help but smile when you see them. I joke that they are an informal hall patrol, but this honestly could not be farther from the truth. Sigmund Freud was known to walk around Vienna with patients to get them to open up. I'm not suggesting that these two are providing a progressive form of psychotherapy for one another, but you can see that it's something that they truly enjoy and it puts them at ease. Bruce Lee once said, "Showing off is the fool's idea of glory." Anusha is a 3rd-degree black belt of Taekwondo, but you would never guess from the way she carries herself with humility. In fact, she competed internationally in South Korea and won a gold medal for her nunchuck performance. As a child of the 80s, chocked full of ninja movies and Karate Kid, I have to admit that may be one of the coolest things I have ever heard. A kind person with humility and determination. Now that is one heck of a combination. We will be cheering for you as you follow a pre-med path at the University of Missouri next year. Stephen Mccleary. Stephen represented CIS as a sophomore at the Missouri Scholars Academy, a participant in Academic Bowl and Science Olympiad. Stephen also traveled to Peru last summer as part of the Be the Change trip. I was recently regaled with a story about Stephen giving a history presentation. He excitedly jumped over tables, pointing at different maps. His passion for history is sincere, but if I am correct, he's more of a fan of world history. Therefore, I take the following lines from a song entitled Bastille Day, off of the 3rd album from renowned rock band Rush. Lessons taught, but never learned, all around us anger burns. Guide the future by the past. Long ago, the mold was cast. May these words guide you in your study of history at Truman State University and your hopes to one day become a teacher. Well, there you have it. Fearless, creative, driven, humble, learned. These are the types of character traits that merit respect. You have heard from me, and now it is time to hear from the seniors that we honor tonight.
Well, it's true what they say. High school doesn't last forever. I've even found that some moments during high school have felt as though they last a lifetime, like when I'm about to compete in cross country or while taking a test. I know it felt weird when last year's seniors weren't running into the lounge the first week of school this year, and I know it will be weird when I no longer call the college counseling area Emma's office or the lounge our living room, but I will always think of CIS as home. I've heard it said that people may forget what you've said or done, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. If you know me at all, you know I have the memory capacity of a squirrel. It would be dishonest of me to say that I'll never forget a lot of the memories that I made at CIS. However, I'll guarantee that I'll never forget how the incredible people of CIS, who I've had the honor of growing so close to over the years, have made me feel and influenced my life for the better. I will miss my CIS family. I will miss seeing Emma's outfit of the day, catching one of Stephen's quiet but oh so clever puns, being embraced by one of Lexi's hugs, and listening to music with Anusha. However, I know that this is not the end. Graduation just marks the beginning of 5 new chapters, and I cannot wait to discover what happens next. These 4 people are so incredibly unique, and in any other context, I'm not sure I would have ever had the opportunity to get to know them. Thanks to CIS, I was blessed with 4 lifelong soulmates. My class has never failed to make me laugh. This year, I also became really close with the junior class, not just because we had our classes together, but because CIS is a family. I will continue to send memes to you, so don't worry. Your class is wonderful, and without you, I would have been fighting through AP Calculus alone. I will miss most the unwavering support that my teachers have shown me over the years. Every time that I begin to think that I wanted to stop trying, whether I felt overwhelmed or confused, my teachers always encouraged me and helped me refocus. Everyone feels the desire to give up sometimes, but my years at CIS taught me that the only way to achieve success is through persistence. Ms. Bucco taught me to be strong in my convictions and to stand up for what I believe in. Mrs. Bullard taught me how to be patient with myself, and I will remember that when trying to conquer a new skill. Ms. Weil taught me to always search for the why in everything I do. I'm so incredibly thankful for all of the teachers who I have had the pleasure of learning from. I would like to thank my mom, who has stood by my side and postponed moving to where Dad lives so that she could be with me while I finish my time at CIS. Since I was born, she has pushed me to be the best version of myself that I can be, and no one will ever sacrifice as much as she is willing to make sure that I have a solid foundation to come back to. Dad has never sugarcoated anything for me, and I always respect that. He's always believed that I can do anything that I want to do, and has always said it with such ease. Oh, you want to do that? Okay, no problem, you got this. My sisters were always close to me at the old buildings of CIS. I remember falling down during recess and hurting my leg. Within minutes, my sister Nellie came from the upper school to comfort me. I'm thankful for how close the CIS community has always felt. Kale has always reminded me that it's important to take care of myself. Kale's viewed me as an equal since I was in lower school, and I'm so excited to move to Richmond with her in the fall. Nellie has always wanted me to follow my passion. She's excited whenever I try something new and always listens to what I have to say. Nam, my uncle, reminds me of Dumbledore in the way that he is very wise. Nam's always taught me to take things step by step and that doing things the right way is the best way, even though it may be the hardest. I appreciate everything that CIS teachers and faculty have done for me, and I will never forget the friendships that I have made here. As my time at CIS comes to a close, I do have final words of wisdom for CIS students. When in doubt, Mrs. Bullard is always right. Also, never forget the plus C. Mrs. Bullard, that was for you. Whenever I think of CIS, I will always have the feeling of home. Thank you.
I made it. Gonna get a hallelujah. I feel that everyone has that moment of realization, the moment where it becomes apparent that they are growing up and moving on. I have to say, it has taken me 13 years, and standing before you today in one atrociously unflattering, oversized cap and gown, for me to understand such a thing. How do I say goodbye? Or more so, how do I even begin to say thank you? I don't know if it is even in the realm of possibility for me to sum up the overflowing gratitude that I have for this school and the people that make it the amazing place it is. Now, if anyone needs a testament of how an extremely disorganized, stubborn, and perhaps just the slightest bit sassy student can survive a prestigious college prep school, I am standing right here. I would say that I perhaps don't quite mesh with the traditional idea of school. It might become a surprise to most people that I plan to go into the field of education. And I can confidently say that is because of the teachers here at CIS that I have such a passion to pursue teaching. I can remember hours devoted to by teachers to sit with me patiently, explaining something for perhaps the 5th time, utilizing every creative outlet in the book to get a concept across, all while not condemning me, but instead celebrating the strengths that made me a different learner. Those moments told me that someone cared, that I was worth it, and that I was and I am capable. It is these teachers that set CIS apart. I have had the privilege of being touched by the most caring, loving, understanding, brilliant, and most importantly, patient teachers. So teachers, you are nothing short of inspirational. And if I can be a fraction of an inspiration and encouragement that you have been to me all these years, for even one child, I would be so honored. You have taught me that I can make a difference and that education is the route to change. You noticed my gifts even when I couldn't, and as a result, I have learned to keep my chin up, to persevere through difficult times, and that brilliance does not look the same in everyone. Because of all you give, all your hard work, your faithfulness, you have given me the tools to go out into the world a strong, educated young woman, one who can stare challenges in the eye and conquer anything put in her way. So thank you. Now, I will briefly address the hooligans sitting behind me. I'm not sure if it is a coincidence that there are the same number of seniors in my class as I have siblings, but I think that really speaks to our dynamic. Each and every one of you absolutely annoys me to the core. You've put me in my place, corrected me when I am wrong, have been the first to point out my mistakes, and are always sassing me. Steven. However, you have also been the first people to bring me encouragement when I needed it most, shared your food when you didn't have to, and found half of my missing assignments. I am so honored to have gotten the privilege to know you. Lil, you have already started and launched your own business, and I have to say that kind of blows my mind. Watching you manage a storefront at your pop-up, I've witnessed the tenacious businesswoman you have the capability to become. Lexi, we've made it. And after all these years, I have discovered that you are incredibly driven. After years of hard work and commitment to your education and softball career, it was absolutely no wonder to me that Mizzou would recruit you onto their women's softball team. Once unleashed, there is no telling what amazing things that you are going to bring to that campus and team. Ush, you are, simply put, empowering. You radiate joy and bring it to everyone around you. You are so hardworking and determined, and I am confident that all these things will earn you your MD. Steen, You foolishly attempted to take me on in the game of sass and wit. Though I must admit, only because I am so humble, that you have the occasional and ever rare win. I've seen you as an admirable opponent, and I applaud your courage. And though your Truman doesn't have a tiger attached to it, it's a comfort to know that you're still close to your roots. Oh, and Steen, one last piece of advice. Please don't try to survive off of milk. I love you guys, and I can't wait to hear your stories and see the tremendous ways that you will grow. CIS has been truly blessed by you walking the halls. I know I have. Finally, I would never be able to conclude, let alone step foot at home, without thanking my family. What would I do without you guys? James and Nathan, as the oldest, you have done a phenomenal job in demonstrating what it means to be strong, loving, and most of all, selfless. The way you have cared and served all those around you, including myself, have allowed me to recognize what it truly means to reflect Christ's love. You are strong men of God who continue to inspire me with your creativity and insane talents. Ray, you are my role model. I aspire to live as faithfully and confidently as you. You are absolutely beautiful and loving, and all while taking crap from nobody. Thank you for all the time you spent helping me achieve my goals, sitting patiently, and even editing my papers. I'm sure the teachers are also grateful. May, it's your turn. Take hold of this opportunity and don't waste a minute of it. Try everything, and please work as hard as you can. Binders are a thing, and though hard to navigate, you have plenty of loving, supportive teachers to help you. You are so inspiring of how you approach everything with joy, you care deeply, and are one of the most passionate young ladies I know. I can't wait to see how you take hold of these upcoming years and grow into an even more strong, beautiful woman, and I'm so proud of you. Finally, Mom and Dad, I simply can't thank you enough. You have sacrificed so much, and you ask so little. You show love to our family by not shielding yours. You've worked so hard that all 5 of us can have a phenomenal education and continue to work so that we can have a better future. You've been with me every step of the way, the long nights of last-minute projects and missing assignments. You invested so much in me, my talents, and my education. But most importantly, you have demonstrated to me what it means to be a godly woman, how to be steadfast and stand firm in what I believe in. Standing before everyone tonight would be an impossibility without you guys. You never gave up, even when I wanted to. And though you might have held your breath, you pushed me forward to the end. And now I'm here. And it's over. For now. But we won't think of college just yet. Thank you.
I have dreaded this day for years for 2 reasons. First, because I have to stand up here and give a speech, and I hate public speaking. And second, it means that my time at CIS has officially come to an end. I remember first moving into our new school in the 4th grade, and I've made many memories since then, but I also have many memories from the old school building. I remember being at the old school in the back playground playing foursquare and tetherball. Might I add, I was and still am the queen of tetherball. All of the penguin days, green eggs and ham lunches, and our volcano launches across the brick road will be missed. Especially the feeling of always wondering what it would be like to go across the street to the big kids building, but then never getting the chance as we moved into this building. I often tell my friends outside of CIS how I only have 5 people in my grade, and how we didn't even have a gym, and they were shocked and questioned why I still went to CIS. I would stop and think, and I realized that I can't even begin to imagine going to school anywhere else. CIS has impacted my life, leaving me with memories and friendships that I know will last a lifetime. From all the movie nights to the camping trips, and even occasionally getting some of them to go country dancing with me. I can honestly say that there is no other place that I would rather be going to school. Some things that I always remember about my time at Columbia Dependent School are always having the best teachers. From Miss Sella always encouraging me and coming to my softball games, to Mr. Ben for always pushing me to continue my French even when I was the only student, to Miss Bullard for having breakfast for her 3 favorite students and accepting that it would take at least 10 minutes into class before we were awake, for Miss Bucco always having candy, food, and anything we need always ready for us before we even ask, and Mr. Luther for letting me babysit his 3 adorable kids, Millie, Walter, and Oliver. There are so many more lessons I have learned from my teachers, but simply not enough time to talk about them. Having spent the last few years with my fellow seniors, I have realized that I have taken for granted what my classmates have done for me. Just to share a few of the things that I always remember about my classmates are how Lil always takes me on adventures and pushes me out of my comfort zone, how Emma always teaches me you can be small but very mighty, and to always see the best in people, Anusha for always keeping me up to date on all the latest trends in music, and especially for our Chipotle lunch dates. And finally, Steven for always making me laugh with his puns and for accidentally spelling his name wrong in 9th grade so that we can all call him Steen. And even now for always responding to me when I call him Stefan. I can honestly say that my time here at CIS has made me into the person I am today, and that is something that I can never thank my teachers, friends, and family enough for. It is very hard to believe that I and Emma have been a lion for 13 years, and now I'm going off to be a tiger at the University of Missouri, where I will continue to play softball and pursue my education with physical therapy. CIS has always been accommodating and supportive of my softball career, even though it led to missing a lot of school. I remember looking into the stands and seeing my peers and some of my teachers, and thinking how lucky I am to have them there supporting and cheering for me. I will especially remember my dad giving me a high five before I go up to bat, and my mom always missing what happened because she was too busy recording the game. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad, for allowing me to be able to play softball and attend CIS, and for always pushing me to be what you know I can be. Also, a quick message to my juniors. Be sure to take in every moment of next year. It goes by a lot faster than you think, and you're going to want to remember every moment. I know that I will. Thank you.
Dear little Anusha, always know that if you have a passion for becoming something, you will become it. It might take a couple obstacles, like failing algebra, a taekwondo board break, and even a few delays in walking, talking, and reading. But always know that if you believe it, you can achieve it. You learn that obstacles are only there to guide you to success, through conquering honors classes within the rigorous curriculum at CIS, obtaining not 1, but 3 degrees of a black belt, and winning awards for academic, athletic, and leadership excellence. No, you will not be graduating from Rockbridge High School with a class of 400 students, but instead, a much, much, much smaller class. Your high school education will not be easy, but nothing in life ever is. But I can assure you that success is calling your name later on down the years. There is a reason why there isn't a straight path in a journey. There are bumps and gravel roads and winding roads, and sometimes what feels like the middle of nowhere ends up being a perfectly okay stopping place. The minute you transfer schools in 8th grade, you will know that CIS is going to be where you belong until you graduate. You will meet new teachers, students, and inspirational people who will guide you to success. It will also take 1 cup of coffee, 1,230 memes, and hundreds of homework assignments to get here, but you'll make it. Your classmates are going to be some of the most odd, beloved siblings you will have ever met. Emma, a girl that was once way smaller than you, which you cracked many jokes about, will end up being taller than you. Yes, surprising, but it will happen. She will never fail to make you smile and will tell you to never, ever settle for anything less than what you deserve. She also makes the most scrumptious salted caramel cupcakes, too. Your love for makeup and memes and rap will shine through when you meet Lillian. She has a bubbly personality that will always make your day 100 times better. You will bond over sports with a girl named Alexis, who will make your friendship unique. Her work ethic and drive for school, softball, and balancing extracurriculars will teach you that you can achieve hard work in silence. Last but not least, Steven, aka your 8th grade Latin bud. His puns will always make you laugh and will give you new perspectives about classes not being classes, but life lessons. CIS has the most kind-hearted teachers that you could ever imagine. Your teachers will always look out for you. They will show you that you are more than a grade, but a student with a love for learning. They will tell you that you have talent and the ability to succeed, so don't ever forget that. It is true when they say that timing is everything. Success doesn't show fast results. It takes time. Same with friendships, fun, and microwave minutes. Always focus on your priorities, and good things will come. You will meet someone very special in your junior year of high school. And no, it's not Beyonce, but someone better. Your best friend. She will be the most humble and down-to-earth person you will have ever come across. Her name is Tassine. You guys will become the champions of walking around the school with over 400 laps and the queens of Hall Patrol. You will have so many school memories, but luckily you will only be a 10-minute drive and a phone call away. Now, I saved the most important people for last, your family. They were with you through your successes and your failures and everything in between. Your parents were the first one to teach you how to fly when you were struggling. You would not have gotten here today if it wasn't for Mama and Daddy's constant effort to love and support you. Alicia will have grown up just a tad and become not only your sister, but your other half. You will create so many fun memories, from late night sleepovers to going to Cosmo Park to watching scary horror movies and hiding under a blanket, or mainly me. Always remember, sisters by chance, friends by choice. A&A forever. As I stand here today in the present to explain your journey, I want you to know that life isn't about worrying about the past or the future, but focusing on the present. Enjoy the little things in life, count your blessings, and always remember that you are not alone. You were given a lot of gifts in your life, and the most important were the people. As one chapter ends, I will soon be starting another, so here is to future me. Dear future Anusha, I really hope you have gotten over your fear of roller coasters, spiders, and of trying new things. I also hope you are studying really hard and getting ready to take that gnarly MCAT. All jokes aside, you better be having some of the best experiences of your life at Mizzou. I have no doubt that CIS has given you the knowledge and lessons to help you succeed. Keep remembering that you are a strong and determined young woman who can conquer anything that life throws at you. Sincerely, your present-day self. Thank you.
So, I'm standing up here and I'm leaving CIS in roughly the same manner I came into it. Nervous for what's coming next and wearing a ridiculous baggy monochrome outfit. But obviously, a whole lot has changed beyond that. Leaving CIS, I'm not the same shy kid who walked in these doors all those years ago. For one, because it's not an event if I wear something other than a gray polo shirt. If you had told me 5 years ago that I would sing the opening solo to the final song of my last choir concert, I don't think I would have believed you. And most of the reason I have grown has been the people who have surrounded me during my time here at CIS. I have learned so much from every one of you. And there's no time to thank you all properly. Throughout my time at CIS, and most of my life, really, I've sort of been an outsider in terms of demographics. The rest of my graduating class really exemplifies this. I mean, as you can tell, I'm a couple months younger than everyone else. But anyway, I've got some fond memories of being dragged out to Ulta Beauty under false pretenses, or having face masks brought out to a party. Lily, I'm pretty sure the face mask thing was your idea. Thanks for that, I guess. Alexis, you've been a great friend. Always so encouraging, even if you insist on getting my name wrong. I'll miss you. Anusha, I don't know how you keep up with all the studying you put on yourself, and I really admire you for being willing to go through however many more years of school med school is, but I know you'll do great. You know, I didn't know when I wrote this how exactly you would sass me in your speech. But I knew you would, and I'm gonna let it go, and for once I'm gonna give up my chance at getting the last word in. Brennan, Devin, Courtney, Will, Chinry, and whoever else decided to show up. I've learned quite a bit from you guys. And while I don't think most of it will actually help me succeed in life, it's been a lot of fun. Rowan, thanks for not graduating before me, man. At a public school, I doubt that we'd ever have talked to each other, even. I just think, look at that guy, some jock, whatever, look at this dude. I wouldn't have given you a second look. But I would have regretted it. I always admire how upbeat you are through all the activities you're a part of and all the jokes you're the butt of. He swims, if you hadn't heard, but not quite well enough to get that GoPro back. But really, I'd be remiss not to mention one person. This person has done her best to keep me on track through all of my assignments this past year. We know her son is going off to college next year, but I think I speak for all my classmates when I say that I hope you'll keep teaching social studies here at CIS. Miss Weil, thank you for teaching me more than just history, but giving me a bit of practical time management practice as well. Thank you for everything you put into your classes. You're a better teacher than I probably deserve. Mark, I feel like we both could have been better brothers to each other. And too often, I'm sorry that I can't help you more with your problems. But you know the answer is better than you think you do. I'm gonna miss you next year. Just don't go driving up the electricity bill while I'm gone. To my dad, I think that without you, I wouldn't be able to do half the things I'm able to accomplish in the day. Not least because I wouldn't be up 2 hours later and then without breakfast. But honestly, I've learned so much from you, and not just the habit of waking up early, which I'll lose within a month at college. I think I've picked up some small measure of your kindness and day-to-day dependability. And really, where would I be without flannel shirts and bad jokes? Finally, when I'm talking about people who have really made an impact on my life, and I'm not trying to trick anyone this time, there is one person without whom I absolutely would not be here today. Mom, thank you so much for everything you've done. You've kept me on track with homework when I would be procrastinating so much otherwise. I don't think I've met anyone else, even in all this field of teachers, who values education so much as you do. You're an inspiration, not just to me, but to so many of your students. And I hope that in the future I'll be able to measure up to some just small part of what you've accomplished here. And there's not time to address so many other people that have been important to me in this speech, so just thank you.
I do believe I have been changed for the better.
As the choir goes back to their seats, we're going to let the rest of our seniors from the choir give flowers to their parents. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Kay Clevenger to the stage, Chair of the CIS Board of Trustees.
So I get the worst spot on the program following those great speeches and the very emotional singing. So I'm going to hold it together here. There they are. Columbia Independent School, class of 2018. You're almost there. As soon as I finish giving you 3 to 5 minutes of wonderfully sage advice that you didn't ask for, probably don't want, and definitely won't remember, we'll send you on your way. And actually, for those reasons, I'll just skip the advice. But we've heard you thank a lot of people tonight, and what I'd like to do is thank you. Thank you for being the foundation of this school, for being great role models and leaders in the school community, for sharing your talents in academics, athletics, and the arts, and for sharing your bright smiles and making us laugh. After seeing today's yearbook, I have to give Stephen a shout out, but after hearing his speech tonight and listening to his classmates' comments, I'm not sure it's necessary. But I would like to disagree with your brother. You are funny. Stefan's appearance on Toga Day, outlining all the great spots to hit in Pompeii, did in fact make me laugh, and ranks right up there with other Latin greats like Twilight, the Roman Years, and Pimp My Chariot. I am so glad that each of you chose CIS, and though I firmly believe that's the very best choice, I realize it's not always an easy choice. It's not your typical high school experience. There are high expectations for CIS students. You have been challenged, and that can lead to struggle and sometimes even failure. But surviving those struggles and learning to see failure as a prelude to success will serve you well for the rest of your lives. I read an article a few months back by Tim Wu entitled The Tyranny of Convenience, the basic premise of which was that modern life has become all destination and no journey. Quick fixes, no delayed satisfaction. He points out that struggle is not always a problem. Sometimes struggle is the solution. It could be the solution to the question of who you are. You have learned and grown in an environment that supports you and values you. It's one of the greatest gifts of this CIS journey, that we know you and you know you. It's that knowledge, not any class you took or facts you memorized, that will form the cornerstone of your future success. So good luck. We'll miss you. Come back and see us sometime. And as always, don't forget to call your mother.
We will now proceed with the awarding of the diplomas. Dr. Clevenger, on behalf of the faculty of Columbia Independent School, I attest that these 5 students have met the requirements for graduation, and I present these candidates for the conferring of degrees.
And by the authority of the trustees of Columbia Independent School, I hereby award you, upon recommendation of the faculty, the diplomas that you have earned during the course of your studies at CIS.
Emma Joy Briner. Lillian Marie Boyd. Alexis Marie Burks. Anusha Chaudhary. Stephen Coltrane Mccleary. Congratulations, CIS graduates. You may now switch your tassels.
When we were practicing yesterday for the rehearsal for commencement, I referred to the seniors as seniors at this point in time, and they said, no, Mr. Bay, will be graduates. So did these graduates deliver or what? What I'd like to do is invite you to join the graduates outside. They're going to be out in the parking lot. You can go straight out the doors here, and they will release some balloons, and then afterwards we'll have cake and punch, and so I hope that you will stay and join us for the cake and punch. I was talking into the microphone. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is a truly wonderful school, a tremendous place, and I think it's reflected in these students that you got to listen to this evening. So thank you for being here. Mr. Bricker will now lead us in the recessional.